Welcome to our Italian Summer Shorts, a short series from amongst Romans to help you travel smarter, deeper, and cooler this summer. Today, let's clear up a big myth. Does Italy really shut down in August? You might have heard stories of things being closed down, towns being deserted, and tourists left wondering what is going on. If you're planning a trip to Italy, you have to understand that there's summer in Italy and then there is August in Italy. Let's start with why so many Italians take time off in August. August is the peak of summer, right? Everybody comes here, everybody wants to be on the beach and enjoy the time off. It's also the time when Italians take time off and go on holidays. But you might be thinking, okay, so what's the big deal? Everybody goes on holidays. In August, there's many things going on, and the big one is on August 15th. So here in Italy, it's called the Ferragosto. It's a very important public holiday, but it's also a religious holiday. During Ferragosto, everything is closed, and it's a time for people to get together, spend time with family, go to the beach, and many people tend to take time off around that time. So they'll take that before or after, and, they go to the beach, they take time off. Now, if you're wondering what Ferragosto really is, I will be doing another episode on that. For now, all you need to know is that this is a key date to keep in mind if you're coming to Italy in August, because things will be closed. The 15th is a holiday, people take time off. What does that mean for the tourists? If you're visiting Italy during the summertime, and more so in August, you will often see signs that say Chiuso per ferie. This means closed for the holidays. And this can be anything from family-owned businesses, restaurants, service providers, bigger factories, and so on. So you might be thinking, what's the big deal? Why is this significant? Well, it's significant because they don't just close for the few days, like around the weekend where the 15th is. They close for 2 to 3 weeks at a time. So you have quite extensive holidays, and it doesn't matter what it is, they just shut down. This means there's no service. And if you want to go to this restaurant you might have been reading about, or the shop, and you're coming in August, they could be closed because it doesn't matter if it's a popular destination or not, they might close. Now, I remember when we were in Palermo one time, and I think we were even there towards end of August, but we found this really cool brewery that we wanted to check out. Unfortunately, when we got there, it was during their summer holidays. So there was still about a week left for them to be on holidays. So obviously we weren't going to be there for that long. So we had to leave, and that was very disappointing. The first summer that we moved to Italy, we ordered furniture. Now, we ordered them way before August. Unfortunately, they were not able to finish our furniture before August. And then, because everything shut down, we had to wait another month for our furniture to be delivered. So again, it's not just like a restaurant or a family-owned business. This is like bigger factories too. So now, while you might not be buying furniture on your trip, there's still other places that close down in August. So this means you might not be able to go to these places, but it doesn't mean that everything is closed, everything is shut down. So let's look at what's closed actually during that time. If you're in a smaller town like where we are, or the towns around us, the ones that are not on the big tourist trails, you'll find more things closed. If there is one coffee shop that's closed, one restaurant or whatever, there might not be that many other restaurants, so it affects that location a lot more. If you go to a bigger city, let's say like Rome or Milan or Florence, you probably won't notice it as much as you would in a smaller town, because there are enough hotels, restaurants, and shops that stay open. And there are also a lot of tourists, so it doesn't really feel like everything is closed and you're missing out, because if that restaurant's closed, you can go to a different one. If that shop is closed, you can go to a different one. You'll definitely find more tourists, than locals, especially in places like Rome, because they go to the beach. They take their families, they take their 2-3 weeks, and they just leave. So they don't want to be there. I've been to Rome almost every month of the year, and I would say August is probably one of the worst times to go. That's my personal opinion. Like if you if you think you want to go, then you go. I think it's just hot. It's very hot. It's very crowded and it's just not enjoyable. So if you're planning to go to Rome in August, keep that in mind. And again, lots of locals leave, so you'll be surrounded by many other tourists doing touristy things. And, there's nothing wrong with that, but just keep that in mind. So what stays open? I don't know where this idea came from that everything is closed. I think in the past, like 15, 20 years ago, or even maybe 5 years ago, more things were closed in August. And you would notice it more. However, now with so many tourists and so many touristy things being open, you're not going to notice it as much. If you're trying to get your errands done, like if you live in Italy, it's a bit more noticeable because, again, you can get anybody to come and do any renovations in your house. If you bought furniture or big items, they're not going to deliver in August, most likely. If you have to get anything done at the government offices, forget it. Like people are closing things down. So if you live in Italy and you're trying to get things done, it's probably not going to happen. If you're coming here as a tourist and you're just going to touristy places, it's not going to affect you as much. You're not coming here for business meetings. So it's not like, you're not able to meet with the people that you need to meet because you're here on a holiday. So if you're a tourist, there's still plenty of things to do. Museums stay open. There's lots of restaurants open for tourists, but also for the local tourists. There's public transport. There's hotels that stay open. It's not like you're going to show up in a place like Rome and things will be closed. It's just not feasible for them to do that. So, you'll be able to get on a train, on the bus, on the plane, whatever, the ferry. Those work because they also serve tourists. So they will be open. Big supermarkets stay open. Sometimes, maybe in smaller towns, when they have a smaller version of the market, not the full one, they might have, some summer hours, but usually they stay open. A few years ago, that wasn't the case, but now you'll have at least 1 or 2 supermarkets that stay open during the day, which makes it so much more convenient. Now, if you are in smaller towns, you might have pharmacies and bakeries rotate their closing. For example, one weekend, this one will be closed. Next week, another one will be closed. It's not likely to affect you in a bigger city like Rome, for example, or any other touristy places because there's so many more options to get your things done if you need to. In smaller towns, you'll have to plan which one is open if you need to go and grab something. Don't think that everything is shut down and there's no one here. This is not that noticeable in touristy places, and it shouldn't really affect you. How can you prepare? Well, in most places, you can check Google Maps and it will tell you whether it's closed or not. In Italy, things work a bit differently. Unfortunately, many businesses here, their Google Maps information and their social media isn't always updated. So even though Google Maps might say they're open, you'll get there and it's closed. That's happened many times. I would say maybe 4 out of 5 times in Italy, if you look at Google Maps, it's wrong. It's not accurate and they don't update information if they close for, let's say, 2-3 weeks. I wouldn't necessarily rely on Google Maps as the only source. Like a bigger store, bigger restaurant, they might have social media presence. You can always check their social accounts to see if they're open or not, if they announced anything. And of course, there'll be a big sign. If you get there, they're closed. There'll be a sign that says closed for the holidays. So again, if you're in smaller towns, more touristy places, like beach resort towns and all that, it's probably better to make reservations ahead of time because you're not just dealing with maybe fewer restaurants, but you're dealing with more tourists. So you want to make sure that you make your reservations ahead of time to get in and actually get your meal. If you're planning a beach holiday, and I think it's always a great idea to go to the beach, especially in August, you also should book ahead. And I'm not just talking about accommodations because those book up really fast. So what's left really isn't always the top choice, but it's also more expensive. If you're planning on going for a day trip to the beach, get there early because if you're going to go to these beach clubs that have umbrellas and chairs, you might find them booked up by a certain time if you don't get there, let's say, before noon. Sometimes it's even busier. But if you don't get there in time, you will find that they don't have any umbrellas available. Sometimes people, if they're spending a lot of time on the beach, they'll book them up for days at a time. So again, if you're going to places like that, it's always easier to book ahead or get there early. If you go to the free beach, if you have just your own umbrella or a towel and you want to sit on the beach, obviously you don't have to make reservations, but also keep in mind that the free beaches fill up as well. So if you get there too late, there'll be a lot of other people in front of you, between you and the water. So to make things more enjoyable, just go early. So overall, August is a bit of an anomaly for Italy, but it's not that unusual. I don't think that if you're coming as a tourist, you're going to have any issues, honestly. I've never had issues when we came. I don't really have issues now unless you're trying to get things done. But don't let people scare you saying that everything is shut down, there's nothing open, you won't be able to do anything, because that's not true. There's still plenty of things to do. There's plenty of places to explore. And, it's just a summer. It's a summer month. It's summer for the Italians as much as it is for the visitors. So everybody's trying to get out and make the best of it. And, there's nothing wrong with that. So if you're coming in August, don't be afraid of that talk because there's nothing to it. If you're coming in August, you might find some places a bit more quiet. That doesn't mean they're less crowded. They just might be a bit more quiet. So just plan ahead, keep everything booked up ahead of time, and be prepared to be flexible. If you get somewhere and they're closed, you have to find another place to go to. And if you know that ahead of time, then you'll be fine.